combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. And if you're brand new to the show, head on over to JimmyRants.com and you'll see that we start off on Instagram Live. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go do that right now as soon as you're done watching Jimmy Rants. At Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. And you can engage in the content live, just like Aaron Deb just did, coming in early. Thank you for being here. Then you can watch it for up to 24 hours on the replay. So definitely watch it on Instagram. But then after 24 hours, it disappears from Instagram. But never fear, we pop it on over to YouTube so that you can watch it. The videos are very easy to find because I label them all Jimmy Rants and the episode number. So just type in Jimmy Rants as a keyword on YouTube and you can see all the past Jimmy Rants episodes. And then finally, we have a Jimmy Rants podcast. If you head on over to Apple Podcasts and you can listen to the best moments of this here show. It's raining like crazy outside, so my hair is all wet running over here. But I have a doozy of a Jimmy Rants for you guys here today because we are in the midst of a cycle where people are really interested in the subject of low carb and ketogenic styled diets. So as of the recording of this yesterday, I posted all over social media this new survey that showed what diets people were planning on going on in 2019. And overwhelmingly, if you added up all the diets that restricted carbohydrates in some way, with low carb diets being the number one, about 30% were going to go on a low carb diet. But they also threw in keto in there, they threw in paleo, they threw in gluten-free, they threw in Whole30, they threw in a lot of 5-2 diet, all of these popular diets that are predicated on restricting carbohydrates. So when I posted this, one of my friends, dear friends in the paleo world, Daryl Edwards, he goes by the Fitness Explorer. So if you want to go follow him, go find him on Instagram. But the Fitness Explorer, he's the guy that came up with Primal Play. Daryl said, I'm going to give you a counterpoint. That, okay, all of these people in America are going to try these various diets in the new year. And I'm going to predict that a year from now, obesity rates will be far worse than they were right now. Disease rates are going to be worse than they are right now. And it got me to thinking, you guys, that, okay, every year, at the end of the year, as people start thinking about the new year and as we get into a new year, every year people make these resolutions, and I'm going to do a whole rant all about resolutions, so stay tuned for that. But they make these resolutions to lose weight and get healthy. And yet we continue to see obesity rates and disease rates continue to go up. So my question for you, and the topic of what I want to talk about here today, is how do you stem the inevitable obesity and disease rate increases? Because Daryl's right. Like clockwork, we see these rates continue to rise, even as popular diet trends like the Atkins diet, like low carb diet, like the vegan diet, like the paleo diet, like now keto. Everybody goes on these diets, and yet obesity doesn't get better. So the question becomes, okay, in light of this information, what are we not currently doing that we need to be doing to help stem the tide of obesity and disease? So one thing that I try to not fall victim to of doing myself is thinking that any one given diet is the be-all end-all for everything that's wrong, and it's the only thing you need to do to fix your health. I have not been preaching that message at all, even though I'm the keto guy. Oftentimes people say, well, keto isn't everything. And I agree with those people. I think it's keto. I think it's stress reduction. I think it's optimizing your sleep. I think it's getting hormones under control. I think it's blood sugar regulation. I think it's insulin control. I think it's inflammation control. And yes, keto does play a role in quite a bit of those things. But there are other things that you can do, like right there, I have an infrared sauna. So I get in the infrared sauna, and that helps improve health. I'm in a massage chair now as kind of a stress reduction strategy. I've done ice baths. I've done HIIT training. You have to do a multiplicity of things. This is what makes the whole diet and health industry so incredibly difficult for people to understand, because they want to have the pie in the sky of, oh, if I just go on X diet, then X diet alone will solve all of my health woes. And it doesn't work that way. So obviously I'm a huge proponent of the ketogenic diet, and I do think it provides many benefits apart from anything else you do. But for some people, keto alone may not be enough. So you have to add in other things. And what I don't think is being talked about enough, and how we need to stem this tide of obesity and disease rates getting worse and worse each year, is we're not talking about enough of the other stuff. So my latest book is Real Food Keto, and in there we talk about stomach acid being deficient in 9 out of 10 people. We talk about micronutrients, which a lot of people in the keto world look at macronutrients. Oh, get your macros right, get your carbs down, moderate your protein, eat more fat. But nobody seemingly is talking about the micronutrition. Very few people are talking about gut health. And so these are the things that I think, if you want to have this discussion about stemming the inevitable rise in rates of obesity and disease, that's where we got to go. And while it's great that a lot of people are interested in diets and people want to go on fresh diets in the new year, and most of them want to go on some sort of a carbohydrate restricted lifestyle, I think that's a good starting point. But we don't need to make that the end point. We didn't go to kindergarten and stay in kindergarten our whole lives, did we? Well, some people did, but most of us went to kindergarten, and then we graduated to go to the first grade, and then we graduated from there to go to the second grade, and we continued to build the knowledge. And you have to look at any given diet that you do as the basis. That's kindergarten. Going keto is just going to kindergarten. Then when you start optimizing your keto to making it real food, that's first grade. Then you start adding in more elements. That moves you up. And you have to look at it in that way. And that's how we're going to stem this inevitable rise in obesity and disease. If people merely look at a low-carb, ketogenic diet, or any diet for that matter, and their only goal with said diet, of going on said diet, is weight loss, that's temporal, something that they can do for a period of time to lose weight so they can get back to eating the way they did before, that is what is wrong with obesity and disease continuing to be bad. People look at diets as I'm on it, I'm off it, so now I can get back to fun again. And we've got to end that mentality. So Daryl is so right. Obesity rates will be worse. Disease rates will be worse if we don't take into and factor in all of these other things that I talked about here today. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Hello, Chrissy Sue. Thanks for being here. Hello, Joette from Arkansas. Thanks for being here. Hello, Ashton. Hello, Kathleen from Denver. Lots of good people in here today. Appreciate you being here. Hello, Wanda. Bonnie Lene says Jillian Michaels is promoting her new book, which slams keto, saying it takes 7 years off your life. Grr, where's her proof? What about children and adults who have epilepsy and improves their life? Yeah, Jillian Michaels, don't get me started. I should probably do a whole rant on Jillian and people like her, of her ilk, because they're just idiots. Just going to put it bluntly. I'm healthier than I've ever been and eat more veggies than ever before. Great job, Chrissy Sue. Low carb keto for life. Hello, thanks for being here. I stopped dieting and I started eating better. And see, I think when we get out of diet mentality, thank you for that comment, Keto Chrissy Sue. When we get out of diet mentality and we start embracing that this needs to be more lifestyle change, and I even hate using that. I used it many years ago when I first started blogging. This is not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And I think finally people are catching on to that, but it's almost become cliche at this point. I don't want it to just be a lifestyle change. I want it to be a life. And if you make this way of eating and all the other modalities that you add into your nutrition plan your life, that it becomes you. Not it's what you do, but it's what you are. And so once you make it what you are, then there is no on-off diet, falling off the wagon, all the vernacular, and you don't have this notion of I'm only in it for the weight loss for a short period of time so I could get off of it. No, it's your life. So if it's your life, then everything changes. I think our kids are much more informed than we are. Kathleen, here. Absolutely they are. So if you're just joining us, I posted yesterday a graph of a new survey of the diets that people want to try in the year 2019. And it talked about all these various diets that are out there, and at the very top was low carb. And keto was on there, paleo, other carbohydrate restricted style diets. And with the popularity of all these diets, you would think we would have obesity and disease rates probably come down. But my friend Daryl Edwards from the Fitness Explorer Primal Play, he made the argument that he'll predict now that obesity will be worse, disease rates will be worse, and we're really right back where we started from, and that these popular diets don't really make a difference. So I'm making the case that he's right, that keto, for example, alone, low carb alone, paleo alone, is not the be-all, end-all in controlling weight and disease. It's the start. And we have to look at nutrition, you guys, as the start. Now, it's a big start. A huge leap forward for a lot of people is cleaning up their diet. And when people switch over from a standard American diet to suddenly eating real whole foods that nourish their body through whatever chosen diet plan they do, they're going to see benefit. But the full benefit comes from all the other things that you add into this equation of getting heavy metal toxins out of your body, of decreasing stress and optimizing your sleep, and just all sorts of things that we could get into the weeds on. But kindergarten class is starting on the diet, and then you go up in your knowledge from there. It's not what I can't have anymore, it's what I don't want anymore. Yeah, Chrissy, and see, that's the change that's happened up here. And this is the other thing to Daryl's question of obesity rates and disease rates getting worse, and my question of how you stem that. You have to change people's minds. And I think back very often to the mindset that I had when I was a 410-pound man and on 3 prescription drugs and not doing well in my health. And it wasn't until I made the switch here and I did something and I started seeing results, started feeling better, that the switch fully came on in the brain, that I don't want to go back to that way ever again. And getting people to make that switch is what will stem that tide of inevitable obesity and chronic disease. All right, guys, that's it for this Jimmy Rants. Thanks for watching today. JimmyRants.com is the website. And as always, we start off on Instagram, so go follow me there at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. And then you can watch me live, just like all these awesome people did down here today. Bonnie Lene says psychological can be so hard, it gets in your head, junk food, sometimes so hard to overcome. Well, hard, yes. Impossible, no. And it does get better with time. So if you miss it live, like all these people did today, join me today. If you missed it live, go watch the replay for up to 24 hours. And then we pop it over to YouTube so you can watch it there, forever and ever, amen. And then we also have a Jimmy Rants podcast if you like engaging in audio content over on Apple Podcasts. So go listen to that. And again, all of this, you guys, is housed at JimmyRants.com. Man from Room 5 says, I was surprised by how many people don't even know what a carb is. Yeah, that's a whole nother rant. The education or lack thereof of people about just the basics. But it means we have a good job to do, you guys. There's still a lot of work left to do. Even with the popularity of keto, people may know what keto is, but they've never heard of a carb. It's kind of weird. How do you not know what a carb is if you're keto? Or at least you know what keto is. How do you not know what a carb is? But it's where the education piece will come into play and how we will stem that tide of obesity and disease. All right, guys, that's it. And until next time, we'll see you then.